Hey, what's going on YouTube? Marine X back at it again. And listen, we all suffer from a little bit of gas or gear acquisition syndrome. Maybe you have FOMO or fear of missing out. Maybe you have both and you might want to get that checked. But nonetheless, in the EDC world, we're oftentimes very concerned about having the newest, the best, the greatest thing. And we oftentimes find ourselves reading subreddits. You know, we're checking the YouTube universities. We're checking out the newest, the best, the greatest gear. And a lot of times we may not specifically remember that the first thing that comes with EDC is functionality. Second should be the way it looks, the way it feels, all that good stuff. That is where this knife comes in. And today I wanted to unbox this thing with you, kind of give you my first impressions and why I think it's important to have some type of combination edge in your kit. But first, if you're the type of person that likes man cave stuff, EDC stuff, survival, hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you part of the battalion. I like to motivate folks to give you ideas about the things you should and should not carry or keep with you every day. So we're going to jump right into this bad boy here. This is the Benchmade Bugout. Now, this one specifically is the 535S, the combination edge. Comes in a little bit different packaging. I'm used to the Benchmades coming in a box, especially the blue series and the brown series and the black series. But this one's, you know, they're kind of getting right to the point. So today we'll unbox this bad boy with the good old Leatherman. We'll use the free P4. Awesome multi-tool I enjoy using, mainly because we got the scissor action here. Now this blade normally comes in at $180 MSRP. If you compare that to the normal Benchmade Bugout comes in at $160 MSRP. Now this blade is hard to find. That kind of, you know, makes it a little bit more difficult to snag it, and sometimes you see it on the good old eBays for over $200. But if you can get it at the MSRP rate, it's a pretty good rate to have. So really simple packaging here, just a non-saving the earth type packaging. This is the first time I've ever got a Benchmade knife that was not in a box. So normally I'm used to getting a Benchmade, especially a blue series Benchmade, in a box similar to like this here, or you know, the black series, and they also have the Hunt series as well. All right, so jumping back into this thing itself, this is the, you know, the Benchmade Bugout that you've probably used to seeing a lot. It has the manual opening, so you guys will get to see me first time action opening it. Let's see how this thing feels real quick with the first action opening here. Nice action. I need to work on the actual dropping action, but the action itself feels okay out of the box. And of course I'm going to work on the action for closing the actual knife. But so manual opening knife, it has S30V steel, which is pretty common type of steel for Benchmade knives. It does have the drop point shape, of course the combination edge with the partial serration, and then the plain edge one here as well. And then you have the satin finish. Really nice addition to the actual EDC loadout here. I'm pretty excited about this thing, and might change the scales out in the future. This is the first time I've had it in this blue color. Even the thumb stud has this little blue color as well. It does have a mini deep carry pocket clip. It's reversible, so if you want to carry it in the left, if you're left-handed or something like that, you can reverse it onto the other side. You can also, it being a Bugout, you know, you can buy third-party scales. Now, before we compare this to its brothers and cousins, why would you even want a partially serrated or a fully serrated knife? Now, I have several of them here. Some of them I've had for years. Some of them are recent acquisitions. Having a partial serration can come in handy in more ways than one. First off, the combination edge brings the best of both worlds together, the plain edge and the serration on one blade. Secondly, serrations are better for your more difficult cuts. You're cutting wood, you're cutting rope, fabric. If you say, for instance, you're a hunter and you're trying to get through skin, like the actual skin of an animal, the flesh of an animal. That's difficult with a plain edge knife. It can be done. If you're getting good value out of this video, make sure you hit that like button and let YouTube know they need to share this with other folks. And I would love and appreciate if you did that. It's going to definitely help out the channel. But having a combination edge or full serration knife is not all good. There are some cons. First off, they're a complete beast to sharpen. You got to have all sorts of specialty tools, especially if it's a combination edge to sharpen it, whetstones. Also, if you slip up and get the actual plain edge of the knife into your cut, you're going to dull that plain edge more quickly. And at the end of the day, serrated blades are not good at precision cuts. The cut itself is going to be jagged. It's not going to be smooth. It's not going to be even. So that's something that you have to think about as well. Now, I have a few of my favorite combination edge knives here. The Benchmade Boost. This is the federal government edition, so it does have the kind of the tan and the olive drab scales on there, but I really enjoy the finish of this knife. This also has the S30V steel. It's just coated a little bit different. Doesn't have that satin finish, but I really enjoy the partial serration of that. I've been using this thing for a long time. Of course, the Boost has an assistant opening. It's still a manual opening. It's not a full opening knife, but you know, absolutely love this thing. It comes in handy pretty often. Of course, I also have one of the OGs here. So this is the Gerber. Now this is a full action knife. It has the safety here. You push here in. Now I need to get mine adjusted. It no longer, normally you push this button in. It's a full assisted knife. I now have to kind of whip it to get it to come out. But an awesome knife. I've had this thing for years. You know, it does kind of have a Tanto style plain edge versus the drop point that you see on the Bugout and the Boost, but it comes in handy. It's really thick, so this is really good for pounding on. It doesn't have any jipping on it. I do wish it had some of that on there, but I love this knife. I've had it for years. Probably gonna either take it apart or send it in and figure out why isn't it fully assisting me anymore. And then of course, you know, the Benchmade Bugout itself, brand new edition here. It's not going to be super heavy duty. You're not going to be pounding on this thing. So I actually do not own a regular Benchmade Bugout. By regular, I mean nothing with extravagant scales or, you know, some type of special finish on the blade. I do own several Bugouts, but not just the normal plain Jane Bugout, which probably will be one of my soon to come acquisitions. So of course we have here the combination edge. Then right next to it, I do have the Bugout. Now this one here has the S90V steel, so stronger steel, harder to sharpen, but in the scales on this one is carbon fiber, so it actually feels lighter than the, you know, the plastic scales of the Benchmade Bugout, but it's carbon fiber, very tough. They both seem to have the same thumb stud, which is something to take into effect, but the cost difference is tremendous. You know, this Benchmade with the carbon fiber scales, $310 MSRP. This one here, $180 MSRP. There's also its little brother, the mini Bugout, the regular. So we got that Bugout on the new combination edge here, and then we got the mini on the top. This has the S30V steel. Doesn't have that satin finish, but it has that nice black blade. I really like the mini Bugout. My only complaint about the mini Bugout is getting it in white. It is definitely hard to keep clean. I don't know if you can see the dirt on there, but it actually feels a little weird to actually open this thing up because my pinky doesn't have as much room to rest when I want to flick this thing open. So it's a little bit more difficult when it's time to actually open this. Feels a little bit more, you know, it feels a little bit weird, but it gets the job done. I really enjoy the mini as well. So then there's, you know, there's the full serrated blade. So the full serrated blade comes in multiple different variations. Obviously this is the Gerber stakeout tool, and this tool itself includes a little hacksaw, which is a, you know, full serrated blade. That's going to be good for tasks like, you know, small bundles of wood, kindling, stuff like that. You can use this, maybe a branch up to 2 inches. You can use that for. So full serration is good, comes in handy, especially when you kind of want a one and done type of tool. This might be something that you carry just to stake out. Obviously, I just showed you the Leatherman Free P4. If you just want one EDC to carry in your pocket, it has a little bit of everything. This will probably be something I would go with. You know, it's going to have not only the hacksaw that I just showed you on the actual stakeout tool, but this has a, the hacksaw. It has another blade, which is this partially serrated here, the hacksaw blade here. And then it includes scissors, which, I'm a big fan of when it comes to my multi-tools, but it also includes a plain edge knife. So you have the plain edge just in case you need it. If you just want to carry, one device, and it has, all sorts of other things in here, is an awl, file, can openers, bottle openers, all that stuff as well. But this one, if this is all you want to carry, then this might be something that's optional. It's much heavier than carrying a knife, but that might be an option. Now, if you're really thinking about the world of, the plain edge knife, so the combination edge, fantastic. If you are the type of person who kind of wants the best of both worlds, have a combination. Then there's obviously things such as what we're used to when we get that FOMO, we get that gear acquisition syndrome. This is a V knife. So I think this is the Poseidon. Absolutely wonderful, lovely looking knife. I love this thing. But the thing about this knife is I don't necessarily use it all the time because it does cost so much. I think this thing cost me $375, but it does have premium materials on it. So it has absolutely wonderful action, very thick blade on there. I mean, I just love the actual scales. They're great. So, and then, of course, if you want to get something, the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, the Para 2, this thing here, great action. Of course, you can Spidey flick the Spydercos, which are great. And mine went through a few things. I accidentally got a little bit of acid on it when I was cleaning my pool. So I'm a little sad about that. But, one of my favorite knives, and it's easy to close one-handed. So just a really great EDC knife. But sometimes these are not going to be something that you want to carry, especially if you don't want to dull them out quick, especially if you're going to be doing tough cuts where they don't need to be precise, but they are going to be a tough cut. So who is this for? Who is a combination edge for? Anybody who needs a combination edge. Well, first off, if outdoor carry is your primary means of carry, right? So if you're outdoor, if you're a linesman, if you're the type of person who's constantly outside, then it might be best that you have a combination edge type of EDC carry. And you might even want to get a fully serrated blade if you're going to have that as well. I actually don't own a fully serrated folding knife. I do have some fixed blade knives which have the full serration, but no folding. So that might be next on the list. At the end of the day, if you like the way these look, then these might be for you. Sometimes we say the first part of EDC is functionality. Second part, in my opinion, is probably going to be the way it looks. How does it make you feel when you carry it? If you like the way it looks, if that makes you more likely to carry the knife itself, then it may be for you. Also, if you're the type of person who likes to go camping, hunting on the weekends, then you might want a knife that has partial serration. So that's why I own these type of knives. If I go on I mostly do rucking. So I like to, take some of my survival bags and ruck those, or go hiking. And I always will carry a combination edge with me, because if I need to cut paracord, if I need to cut through some type of fabric, if I were to injure myself and I want to be able to cut some medical supplies to actually, put around myself, I will prefer the combination edge. You just have to be very cautious when using this, because you can dull the actual plain edge part of the knife very quickly. Comment down below, do you have a combination edge, a full serration folding EDC knife? Are you going to add one to the list? In my opinion, you might be doing EDC wrong if you don't at least have one. But, let me know your opinions down below. I would love to know your thoughts. And listen, if you're not a part of the battalion, hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you a part of the battalion. If this is your first time stopping by, thanks for stopping by. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.